I think an activated church ultimately looks like a Spirit-led church. And I think that has less to do about the label of charismatic or Pentecostal, and it has more to do with believers really understanding that in the new covenant, the Spirit of God lives in us, and we are now called to be internally motivated believers. That we don't need external things to motivate us to do what God has called us to do. As a follower of Jesus, He asked certain things of me. He asked that I would get in community, that I would pray, that I would pray for the sick, that I would take care of the poor, I would take care of widows and orphans, that I would be generous, that I would share my faith, that I would disciple. These are all things as followers of Jesus that He asks of me. And I think that sometimes we fall into the trap that we don't do those things unless somebody externally motivates us. This is the society we live in. We live in an externally motivated society, which means this, that I go the speed limit because of an external possibility of a ticket. I try to get good grades because of this, or I work because of a paycheck. And there has to be a shift in an activated church that says, I don't need external motivation to do what God has called me to do, because the Spirit of God lives inside of me and is now internally motivating me. And ultimately, that I would feel a sense of personal responsibility, that the Spirit of God would put a burden inside of me where I say, it's not somebody else's responsibility to live my Christian life for me. I don't think it's my pastor's responsibility to reach my neighbor. I don't think it's my pastor's responsibility to figure out how to solve problems or come up with solutions in my city. It's not my pastor's job to disciple people or to get me into community. Like, listen, we love all that. Like the pastors and evangelists and teachers and prophets and apostles, all of them, they're here to equip me and encourage me so I can be effective in what I do for Jesus, but they're not here to do it for me. So in other words, there's an internal motivation that says, if my pastor never has a program for the poor, am I still leaning in and saying, God, what is it that you're asking me to do for the poor? If my pastor never built a small group structure, would I still be leaning into the Holy Spirit and saying, how am I to build community in my life and with others so I can follow you? So for me, an activated church is a Spirit-led church that has said, we're going to allow the Spirit, we're going to be internally motivated, the Spirit of God living inside of us, leading and moving us. And we're going to take responsibility for the mandate and the call that God has placed in my life. I'm not looking for somebody else to do my Christian life. I need other people to equip me and encourage me and walk with me, but I don't need them to do my Christian life for me. And I think when that happens, we will see the power of an activated church in cities.